career out of what got him in trouble in school. Talking. Mike Eccles, the Boss Tournament Trail Director and duck hunting guide with years of outdoors knowledge, who's not afraid of letting the lack of facts get in the way of telling a good story. And last but not least, Daiwa and Ranger Pro Steve Graff, a former two-sport athlete from Northwestern State University who has a great reputation among tournament anglers for catching dinks. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the three wise men of the outdoors and living legends, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the one and only Steve Graff. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot for your time. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. Hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger, Gary McCoy, and the old mud hen, Mike Eccles, with a little topwater jaybird. Chug bug, pushing buttons today. Graff, the Ranger Pro staffer, is actually in the boat right now with Johnny Geis. His daughter and his grandchildren are out fishing. They're all doing some fishing. So when we talk to Johnny Geis later in the show, Graff's going to be in the background, obviously grading us. You know, we'll get a report card on how we do the show today.
That's okay. Johnny Geis is grading him right now. This may be the first time we've had Johnny on that he is ready to jump off of a bridge.
Hey, this part of the show brought to you by Coastal Conservation Association. Our great friend, an awesome man, Steve Nichols, and Specialty Track Hoe, and the Red River Waterway Commission on the show today. Kind of a cool thing because I've never had an opportunity to talk with him before. Harold Allen, about an hour from now. Mr. Worm, Mr. Toledo Bend, Mr. BASS, Harold Allen is going to be on the show. And Graff and I were actually talking about him late last week. And, you know, Graff was saying that when it comes to worm fishing, the plastic worm, probably the world's most renowned expert would be Harold Allen.
I saw Harold win a tournament down at the Henderson Swamp. It was the Skeeter NFL tournament at that time, held down there. And Harold came in and fished it and beat everybody fishing in right there, right off the I-10 bridge, and he won it fishing with a worm. Everybody else was doing different stuff.
Yeah.
He's a hoot. Last time Harold and I spent any time together one evening, I don't believe either one of us left the building vertical. Harold's a lot of fun.
Well, he's going to be on the show with us. We're going to get to talk to David Croissant again from the Louisiana CCA. He'll catch us up to date on our recent Star Tournament winners and some new projects that are taking place for the Coastal Conservation Association. And you've got, I want to say, all the way up until Labor Day. If you've not entered that, if you're planning to do a little red fishing or speck fishing on the Gulf Coast, that's something you definitely want to make sure that you jump in there and register.
Yeah, if you want to guarantee catching a tag fish,
don't register.
Go down without registering. But you know that's the reason that the CCA came on board with hooking up and tracking down, is because all of these conservation organizations, CCA, Delta Waterfowl, Wild Turkey, Federation, all of these, all we see is the banquet and the party.
Yeah.
But they were organized to help fight pass legislation.
Sure.
It's a political. It's to help us in the political arena, and that's what a lot of the big majority of the people that hunt fish but belong to one of these associations do not realize what these people actually do for us, as far as laws and stuff all the way up to the Capitol.
Well,
so that's the reason they're on board with us to enlighten the members what is being done with your dollar.
Well, a lot of times we get caught up in what we've lost as outdoorsmen, and the fact that the liberals have bullied us in a lot. Imagine you didn't have organizations like CCA or Delta Waterfowl or some of these others for whatever little battles they win. What if they weren't there fighting those battles?
Well, you have no idea how bad it would be.
That's my whole point. Yeah. Just what's, and you know what? If you don't think we're a minority these days, brother, you really need to look at the landscape, because I'm telling you, and I'm not telling anybody how to vote, but I am telling you that it was stated that indeed if Mrs. Clinton is elected, the first thing she's coming after is your gun. And if you don't believe that, then allow that to be handled by fate.
That's bad. It's bad that she feels that way, but it's even worse how many people out there do not understand what it'll be like if it happens.
Sure.
Yeah, they think, oh, that's a good thing. There's too many guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it happen.
Well, I'm going to tell you, why would you go after legal gun ownership? Let's go after the illegal gun ownership. Let's go after the people who are here illegally. Let's go after the people who don't need to even have access to anything outside of a jail cell.
It's a lot easier to enforce some laws than it is to enforce the important ones.
Oh, without a doubt.
So that's what they're doing. They're making a name for themselves and not doing what's right.
Well,
because to do what right takes effort.
You bet. You bet. And it takes money. And that's where CCA, Delta Waterfowl, those people come in. We've got to be able to fight for what's right. Okay, you just brought something up to my point of view a minute ago. The 2016 Forest Wood Cup field.
Yeah, the field has been set for the 2016 Forest Wood Cup. It's a field of 50 anglers. There we'll see.
Where's it going to be held?
Lake Wheeler.
Okay.
Huntsville, Alabama, August the 4th through the 7th. To crown the bass fishing's top angler for 2016, hosted by the Huntsville Madison County Convention and Tourist Visitors Bureau. What caught my eye? Let's see. $3,000, biggest award, $300,000 cash.
50 anglers.
Yep.
How many of those names did you recognize?
Out of 50, I'm going to say I know second place. First place is Brad Knight from Tennessee. Second place
Have
is
you
Scott
ever heard of
Martin.
Brad Knight before today?
No. Second place is Scott Martin.
Know him.
We know him. Jeremy Lawler, Hampton Anderson, Joseph Webster, Ray Hasselman, 8th and 9th. Let's see.
I know Denny Brower's on there.
Yeah, Brian, all the way down to Denny Brower, 15th. I missed him someplace. Jacob Wheeler is in here. Mark Rose. We know Mark Rose.
I knew 8 of those names.
Yeah. Clark Windlet. We've had Clark on the show.
And that's the Japanese angler, the Fukyu.
Yeah.
I knew that name.
Quasimodo Yakamoto. Clark Ream, who used to live here in Shreveport, now lives in Huntington, and Jim Tutt.
Yeah, Jim Tutt from Longview.
And I still can't find. There it is. Jacob Wheeler, 19th place. Out of 50 anglers, we know 7, 8, 9.
Isn't that crazy? Now, is that because why is that? Is that because BASS has been around longer? Is it because BASS is just a better known commodity? Is it because we don't care about FLW? Why is that? Why is it that we know the BASS anglers, even those that aren't the Kevin Van Dams or the Gerald Swindles?
I didn't come up with this, but I agree with it, and I believe that we're not talking about FLW. Great, I mean,
an incredible organization.
Bill Taylor. Mm-hmm. I've worked with Bill when they've been here. Just a prince of a guy. Great organization, and they put on the Cup is as big a production as the Classic.
Sure, we were there for every morning's launch,
and so. Great deal, but I think it was one of those from FLW that made this statement. BASS had ESPN for X amount of years, and the names of the BASS anglers became a household word.
Yeah.
So, yes, they've been around a lot longer, but I think that when they were associated with ESPN and they were on every weekend, well, we just got to know the anglers better. So.
I'm going to go back to, there's an old rule in marketing that there can be no firster, meaning that you might be better, you might be bigger, but nobody can be firster than first.
Right.
And, BASS owns that position. As long as they stay in business, there can be no firster.
Right. The first people to make a creature bait as we know it, the brush hog, was Zoom. Mm-hmm. There are probably 30 creature baits that are just as good as the Zoom brush hog.
Mm-hmm. Can be no firster.
90% of the creature bait sold is the Zoom brush hog.
Hey, I'll tell you what now. I had not fished the V&M, their swamp bug, I think it's what their swamp hog.
Yeah.
I had not fished that before not long ago. Tried that. The one that I am really impressed with, though, is Mr. Twister.
Right. Absolutely.
Dude,
absolutely.
Mr. Twister has got, if you're looking for that style of a bait, and you talk about some colors, Daryl and I were talking the other day, you can get some laminated colors in there. Son! Yeah. I mean, it's the best of both worlds. You get all the action, but again,
they last longer.
Yeah, they do. They're made out of a more durable material. But the thing that you just brought up, it's hard to be firster.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that when it comes to the world of worms, you can't be firster than Twister.
Mr. Twister.
When it came down to the worms as we know it, with the twirl tail worm, the twister tail, you can't be firster.
Sickle tail. Yeah.
Sickle tail,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's the way, that you establish your place at the table, if you will, is the fact that you're able to do that. So,
the first, Mr. Twister, the first one I know of to make an ice blue worm.
And when was the last time you threw one?
I can't remember.
You know what? A lot of people don't realize that, a lot of times you take something, you put it back in the closet. And old David Parker, God rest his soul, was the first one that told me this. He says, you put something in the back of the closet, and he said, drag it out in about 5 years. He said, when everybody else has quit fishing it, you drag it out in about 5 years. It'll be like you're fishing out of a brand new tackle box. And he said, all of a sudden, those fish hadn't been seeing this.
Yeah.
He said, they've seen everything watermelon red. They've seen everything that was watermelon seed. They've seen everything that was tequila sunrise. But Cross Lake, renowned. Those fish love blue.
When was the last time you threw tequila?
2 weeks ago. Now, that's a staple for me.
I know it is, but that's because you hadn't bought baits in 20 years.
You've been looking at my tackle box.
Just now getting back into the game.
Amen. Okay, listen. Cool stuff on today's show. Eccles has come across the 25 most deadly animals in the world.
We just did the 35 most venomous creatures a couple of weeks ago, but this is deadly animal. How many people are killed around the world by these animals a year?
Is the ex-wife in the top of that list?
Number one.
I figured it had to be somewhere along in there. Also, as we mentioned, David Cressan's going to be on from Louisiana Coastal Conservation Association. He's got some real cool stuff for us. Stephen Johnston's got a Toledo Bend report for us. I want to find out from him. Last week and the week before, he was a little bit not necessarily down in the mouth, but he was like, things are tough right now on Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
And we all know that if you've spent much time around Toledo, it seems like to me the hotter it gets, the better the bass fishing gets on Toledo. It's got to get to a point where it's almost unbearable. But from the people that I have talked to, the night fishing is on fire on both Toledo and on Caddo Lake.
Yeah.
That's the rumor on the street, if you will. And hopefully he'll give us some insight on that.
But the rains we've had, the delayed summer, has kept our summer fishing from getting to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you still talk about catching fish in the bushes.
Yeah.
If you're not catching them in the bushes, you're catching them in 6 or 8 feet of water around the alligator grass and stuff.
Yeah.
Those fish should have been gone in May.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's our fish are spread out from springtime locations all the way to summer locations.
Oh, I want to mention one thing before we get out of this particular segment, and that is the 3rd annual Fishing for Angels Holy Angels Bass Classic that's coming up on August 27th. And you know what? The gang from Holy Angels brought Mike, Steve, and I to lunch and said, guys, we want to put on the biggest and baddest late summer tournament that we could possibly put on to bring not only some recognition for Holy Angels, but as a fundraiser for Holy Angels. And they said, what would you do? And, they took every recommendation that we gave them and put it into place.
Now, that's good and that's bad. Because if they flop, they're going to blame us.
Well,
but they're not going to flop because this is. We've gone from 3,000 first place to 5,000,
and that's guaranteed. If there's one team or 1,000 teams, First place gets $5,000.
We've gone from fishing the river to a scramble.
Yeah.
Where you've got 5 or 6 options.
You're going to be able to fish. Let me run through here. You're
And
going to be
we've
able to
got a 3-fish limit because of the heat
Right.
time of year.
You'll be able to fish Black Lake, Campty, Caddo Lake, Grand Bayou, Lake Bistineau, Red River, or Toledo Bend. It's August 27th, Red River South.
Red River South Marine is where the weigh-in will be.
Right. If you need details on this, entry form, anything along those lines, we were talking to Mr. Joe. He said that he's tried to get most of these at the like Bass Pro Shops and the marinas and tackle dealers around. But you can also get hold of us, and we'll tell you where to get one. You can even register online. I love this part. You can go to their website, laholyangels.org. LAHolyAngels.org. Get some more information about that. Sit tight here in just a sec. We got the 25 most deadly animals in the world. Hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
Taking out a mess of blues. Show me where I start.
This segment presented by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoor Supercenter, Toledo Fiberglass, and Spro Lures. Makers of the Spro Frog named one of the top bass lures for 2016. Here's Steve Kraft, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eccles.
Welcome back to Hooking Up and Tracking Down. I'm Mike Eccles in the studio. We're kind of lonesome. We got this empty chair between us.
So you give him the big hit. He's listening right now.
Gary McCoy in the studio and Steve Graff doing what he does best, getting out of work by picking today to go over and fish with Johnny Geis.
Yeah, there's 7 days in a week? And he picks a Wednesday?
That's it.
I don't think that's coincidence.
Didn't know the show was on Wednesday. This part of the show is brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoor Supercenter, Toledo Fiberglass, and Spro's Lure. In a minute, we're going to talk about the 25 most deadly animals in the world, but Chugbug gets to talk about Cypress Knee
Wait,
first.
is Chugbug me? I thought I was top water. It changes every week, doesn't it?
Your tiny torpedo.
No, he called. See, he doesn't realize it, but they gave me the nickname. What is it? Chatterbait.
Chatterbait.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good.
And you're
nickname.
Chugbug?
Yeah, Chugbug's okay.
Okay.
Anyways, as you can tell, outdoors.
We'll call him Pop R.
Outdoorsmen are a funny bunch sometimes. Like animals, we're creatures of habit. We like it when we can count on the same place to have exactly what we're looking for. That place is Cypress Knee Outdoors off Highway 1, just south of Natchitoches. Natchitoches. Hunting and fishing supplies with a huge selection of guns and ammo. So make that short drive down I-49 and take exit 127 and let John Abraham and his knowledgeable staff at Cypress Knee Outdoors show you that they're not just another tackle store. Go to cypresskneeoutdoors.com to learn more.
You know, I wish that I had thought to look at the major feeding period before today.
I got it.
I mean, for today, because I would
Oh,
like
for today.
Yeah, for today, because I'd like to know when we get Johnny on the air and he's got Steve Graff and
I'll
his